Diary of a Sociopathic Mother-in-Law Next Door entry. Today's date is Tuesday, the 8th of July, 2025. Before I pick up where I left off at the last entry, just something the Beacon told me just last night, which I wasn't aware of. If you remember back to the boiler incident, when the boiler was broken and we were coming back from a musical festival that we were leaving a day early because the weather was atrocious, a boiler was broken, and she couldn't even thank the Beacon for sorting it all out for her. She thanked me bizarrely, even though I did nothing. Anyway, the Beacon was telling us last night that when we got back from the festival, obviously we had to unpack and, get ourselves sorted. There's no emergency. She's got no hot water, so what? She's got a lover boy's got a big 4-bedroom house, plenty of hot water. I'm sure you can deal with it while we'll get ourselves sorted. Bear in mind, phoning up the company, because obviously everything's under guarantee in the lodge, so you just phone the company and they just send an engineer. And bear in mind that making a phone call either now or in an hour's time isn't really going to make any difference, because it's unlikely that he's going to come out that same day. It was bank holiday weekend as well, so highly unlikely. So can you just give us some space, please? Get home and just texting the Beacon, just constantly harassing her by text. Anyway, the Beacon went over and the two of them were fannying about in the cupboard where the boiler is, trying to work out what's gone wrong. Well, I would say the black plug is probably a problem, the burnt plug. And St George offered to change the plug, and the Beacon's like, no, just leave it please, because there's obviously a problem, and yeah, that might fix it temporarily, but everything's under guarantee and I'd rather get it done, and it's on record that it's been a problem and it's been fixed by them. I can change the plug, dickhead. Anyway, so that's what the Beacon says. No, just leave it. I'll ring them. I'll get it all sorted. I'll let you know when they're on the way, whatever, you know what I mean. And then she's left the little cupboard area where the boiler is, and she walks back into the bedroom, and and they're still fanning about in there, like looking at it. What are you trying to work out? The problem is solved in terms of what you're going to do. You're going to ring the company. The Beacon's going to ring the company and they're going to sort it. There's nothing else for you to do. Get out of the cupboard. Well, they're still humming and hawing as if, there must be something we can do. No, there's nothing you are going to do. This is how it's getting sorted. Anyway, the Beacon says, right, I'll get myself away then, get back to what I was doing. I'll get myself away. There's nothing more I can do here. And the husk turns round, as bold as brass, in a spiteful voice, and just says, we haven't done anything. That's what she says. Beacon says, right, I'll get myself away, nothing more I can do. Well, you haven't done anything. It's really, really nasty. Cruel, just cruel. She's dropped everything. Come back from a bit of a stressful weekend. Still haven't finished doing what we need to do. She puts all of that on one side, goes across there, solves the problem for it. It is solved. It's solved. You've got the electricity back on. We've isolated the boiler. And the boiler needs a professional to come and look over it. Approved by the the company who guarantee the stuff. It's sorted. Might take a day or two, but it's sorted. So that's what she gets in return. We haven't done anything. And the beacon, obviously, she's got no tolerance now. She just reacts, says something like, all right, okay then, well, I'll go back to doing what I was doing then. She makes it absolutely clear that she's peed off at that horrible comment. Good, go on, Beacon, stand up to her. Because that's what nobody's done that to her a whole life, or pretty much a whole adult life. Nobody's stood up to her cruelty. And anti-social behaviour. Low-level anti-social behaviour. That's all that is. It's not very sociable, is it? It's your own daughter as well. She's sick. And in front of him, she's happy to show that level of cruelty and spitefulness in front of him. So she's getting bold. She's getting brave. She must feel safe. So the Beacon gets home. Obviously, she hasn't told me any of this up until now. But she gets. You all right? Another nice one.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
Wow. After last night?
It rained really bad, didn't it?
But was it like a bloody whirlwind?
It was.
And it was so black you couldn't see your hand.
I know.
And then the sun came out. Weird. This is what we'll do.
Exactly.
We'll live with it.
Have a nice day.
You too.
So what was I saying? So the Beacon came home. And she had obviously. Oh, and when she was leaving, she made eye contact with St George. The husk couldn't see them, but she made eye contact. She made eye contact with St George, and St George did like a grimace. When I think that's the right word. It's not an eye roll; it's a grimace where you kind of put your eyes in the top. You look up and you just like pull your jaw back. Awkward. So he's seen it. He's picked up on it. He's got some empathy. At that point, he's showing some empathy for the Beacon. But it's pretty blatant. And I don't. And is he showing empathy? It's a good question. Because would he have done that if the Beacon hadn't have challenged her cruel behaviour? Would he have done that if she hadn't? Would he have just looked at the Beacon and grimaced? I'm not sure. I think he's only done that because the Beacon has kind of fought back. And now that's where the awkwardness comes in. Awkward. She's fighting back. Uh-oh. But these are little snippets. He doesn't know what she's charged with. He doesn't know her history. He doesn't know how mean, cruel, cold, unempathetic, sociopathic she is. But you'd think that you'd say to yourself, that was weird. There was absolutely no call for that. The lass has come over to help and you've been a complete bitch. No call for that. Weird. You'd think you would start and question reality. Or is he just going to bury his head and live in his own delusional world. So anyway, that went on longer than I thought. I just thought that was another good one to I'd put down on record. So back to where we were in the story. We finished last entry on we've had this conversation about when are the happy couple going to move in. She wouldn't give us the satisfaction. She clearly attacked me when we were trying to be amicable, because she wanted to shock the beacon and cause friction. She thought I hadn't told her, and she wanted to cause division and friction. And she wrongly thinks that, she can do that, but she wrongly thinks, because she doesn't know her own daughter. I'm sure I've said this, she doesn't know her. That's why she can't write any words and cards, because she doesn't know what to write. She doesn't know who she is. That's why she can't pick presents. She needs lists, because she doesn't know her own daughter. And she doesn't know how she would react or what her opinions would be. She thinks she's like prim and proper. Is that the right phrase? Because she was brought up, the beacon, she was brought up to, or this is how the husk tried to bring her up, respect your adults, mind your P's and Q's, don't speak until you're spoken to, get top grades at school, that's the sign of success, a bit of paper, say that you've passed a memory test, and don't get into any trouble, don't make any mistakes, and just be the perfect prim and proper child, girl, teenager, adult. She was the beacon was a bit of a swat at school. I wouldn't say a teacher's pet. I didn't go to school with her, but I knew her at the age of 16, obviously, when she was going through her GCSEs. Not a teacher's pet, but, puts school work, homework and exams way before, anything else. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying what she was like. I probably corrupted her slightly when I met her or corrupted that side of her, because obviously I wanted to hang out and go on dates and all the rest of it. What do you mean you're doing your homework? What do you mean you've got exams? Just do that tomorrow, man. But she's still got A's across the board. 1B, I think. A's across the board. So, anyway, the husk. And then she went to university, studied law. What do you associate? Somebody who's got a union. Oh, I've studied law, And her natural father, and certainly her stepmom, the knob father and the wicked witch, they are snobby. Again, if that's the right word. They shop at Waitrose. Only Waitrose is good enough for me, which is fine. I'm not having a go at that. It's them people who turn their noses up at Asda or Sainsbury's or whatever. Bloody supermarket class wars. Pathetic, these people, aren't they? Anyway, they don't want to rub shoulders with the common people. That's what this, kind of towards the upper middle class, the want to be higher class than other people, the look down. Anyway, going off on one. She would, obviously that influence, the husk, probably believes that influence rubbed off on her. I didn't. None of the Husk, the Beacon has never, ever, ever been a snob or prim and proper or, you know, one of these perfect snobby look down on people woman. She's never been that. She would much prefer to socialise with real people. Anyway, going off on one. Right, the Husk doesn't know. She probably thinks, like, the fact that I'd call her an effing bitch would cause shock and horror to the Beacon. That's why the Husk was saying she was shocked, she was horrified. She wasn't. No, but does she approve that I use that sort of vocabulary? No. Does she understand why I said it? Yes. Does she hold it against me? No. Is she shocked and horrified? No. Does she agree with us? Yeah. I think she does. For doing what she's done, I think she agrees that those thoughts, those words are in your mind. She just probably doesn't agree that they came out because it doesn't sound good. Beacon likes to, you know, have a bit more integrity than that, which is fine. I can take that criticism. But don't think for one second that she's shocked and horrified, Husk. She's not she's not the daughter you think she is. You're just getting it wrong again because you don't know your own daughter. So, I've gone off on one again. So anyway, another thing that she said during this confrontation, which I forgot to mention, was she likes to twist your words. So when I've said, yeah, we'd be happy for you to move out, and I've tried to explain to her, if you were happy, if he was happy, we'd be happy. Why would we not be happy? Everybody's a winner. You know, you really have to explain this to her like a child. But she twists your words in, right? You're happy to move us out, right? Okay, I'll go tomorrow. And you know what she said? She said, I'll go back to. Let's try to not use the name of the town, just to try and keep that anonymous as well. But let's just say the town was called Thrive. So, and I'll go tomorrow. I'll go back to Thrive. I'll go back to Thrive tomorrow and I'll get myself a little place. I was just like laughing. I was like, what? How? In my head I'm thinking, how are you going to, you've got no money. You've got no income. You've got nothing. The only thing you pay for here is a discounted electricity rate, which we subsidise, right? How are you going to afford rent? How are you going to afford water, gas and electric, full price? You don't even know how to like shop around for energy deals and stuff. You don't understand any of that. You don't know how to cut costs and live as as cheap as possible. You don't know how to, you wouldn't last 5 minutes. I'm not even sure how she would still be managing in that old house, to be honest, even with no mortgage. But anyway, that's what went through my mind. But she said, I'll move back to Thrive. I just laughed. And he wouldn't let you, man. He wouldn't let you. You'd think he's going to let her do that. And then she said something like, he doesn't control me. Yeah, right. He doesn't control you. He is neither of you are in control, man. You both just do anything to keep each other happy. You actually control each other. If that makes sense. She does stuff just to please him, even if it doesn't please her, and vice versa. So neither of them have got any autonomy. The whole thing's fake. I caught them. I went in there once a couple of months ago when things were like going through an alright period, and they were both sitting watching some absolute trash on the television, some Saturday night entertainment, absolute trash. You know, the sort of stuff where as soon as you walk into someone's room and it's on, it's like, what's this? Loud trash. Anyway, I said to them after about 5, I was laughing at it. After about 5 minutes, I said, are you actually watching this? And they went, no. So they were both sitting watching, but they were. When we walked in, they were both sitting watching it. But when questioned, they both said no. As in, yeah, it's absolute rubbish, isn't it? So, why are they watching it? Because neither of them has the backbone to say this is rubbish. I'd like to turn it over. What do you think? Neither of them has the backbone to do that because they think the other is watching it and enjoying it. So they just sit and suffer. God, this is horrible. But I'm just going to suffer because he's watching it. And he's thinking, God, this is horrible. But I'm just going to suffer because she's watching it. And then they end up both suffering. And that's how much time is wasted. How long is that show for? An hour and a half, hour? Whatever. That's their life. Take that example and apply it to everything that they do. Because they're petrified of upsetting the other one. Because then it's not love based on trust. They're desperate to be accepted by each other for similar but differing reasons. He's desperate to be the saviour, the male chauvinist saviour. A woman, damsel in distress, needs protecting and rescuing because he's got old-fashioned male chauvinist ideals in his head, and he's so insecure that he needs to build his self-esteem through a damsel in distress who relies on him for everything. That's his purpose in life, to feel like he's needed. Like we all like to feel needed, but this is what, this governs him. Insecurities. And she is the perfect damsel in distress, victim mentality martyr. Somebody take me away from this, it's not my fault. Nobody loves me, nobody understands me. That's the perfect, what's the phrase? Codependent relationship. And she's like that, through the same self-loathing, lack of self-esteem. She needs to feel wanted. Nobody wants me, nobody loves me. I just want to be wanted. But it comes from the same place of self-loathing. They've just got different mechanisms to feed their the trauma need. So completely went off on one again. What was I saying? One about she doesn't know the beacon. She thinks she'd be mortified she wouldn't. Their relationship is based on just status. Anyway, right. So that confrontation ended. Oh yeah, she said she's moving back to Thrive. No way. What's going to happen is, if things get so bad that you feel like you have to move out. And just for the record, I don't care what she does. I don't care if she stays. I don't care if she goes. The only thing I care about is she takes responsibility for why things are so rubbish at the minute, and she accepts her share of the responsibility. And I'd love her to change her behaviours. I'd love her to stay and be happy and do the right thing so we're all happy. She's totally in control. She's in the driving seat. She loves being in control. But when she's got real control, real opportunities, and when I say real, I mean opportunities to make people happy and do good stuff for her daughter, give her satisfaction, give her gratitude. When she's got all of that possibility, she doesn't want that. She loves control. Just the sort that makes her feel better and her more important. So anyway, what's going to happen if she feels that it gets to a point where she needs to move out? What she's going to do is, this is the martyr. I think she's doing this on purpose. I don't know if I've said this before in this series, but I've definitely said it before to a friend. She's going to start the martyr series journey, and I believe it might not be conscious, might be subconscious, but I believe she's doing this on purpose because she wants to go. She doesn't want to go to his house, but she knows on some level she has to keep him, to keep the status, to keep him happy. I'm going to have to go there just to keep him happy. So what she does is she starts the journey and the behaviours of completely destroying what she's got at home, her relationship with us. She destroys that. She can then blame us or me, whoever, for having to move out. And then she tells him, I'm going back to Thrive. And he says, don't be stupid, come and live with me, I'll rescue you. And then she'll persist and persist that she's moving back to Thrive, just a little bit. And he'll persist and persist. And then eventually she'll give in. So she didn't make the choice to move to his. She had no choice but to leave her home with us, and then he persuaded her to live at his house. So she's there, not through choice. I had no choice. I was forced to move here, because when you look at things she said in the past, her behaviours, this is what she says. Beacon persuaded me to live here. No, she didn't. She won't even accept responsibility for her own choices that she's made. So that's what I believe is happening. And it's such a manipulative, if I'm right, which I believe I'm right, because it's the only thing that makes sense. She's happy to destroy her relationship with us, particularly our own daughter. She's happy to destroy that relationship to ultimately make him happy, but without her just doing the right thing and giving us the satisfaction and giving him the satisfaction. I'm pretty sure he would love her to go on nice terms. Nice terms as in, I'd love to come and move in St George. And then, thank you so much. And then I can give the lodge back to my daughter and she can start to get a return on an investment, and I don't need it anymore, so she should have it. And I can help her do that. That's amazing. Thanks, St George, and thanks, Beacon, for helping us out. And you're so generous, and she's got the power to do that, but she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to give anybody any satisfaction. So she's going to do it this way. She knows she's probably going to have to do it because he's going to put her in a position where she can't say no, because she's going to run out of excuses. Because she can't say to him, no, St. George, I just don't want to come and live with you. Because that sends a message. Sends a message of this is not for me what it is for you. And there's no way she's going to say that. So she has to give him what he wants to maintain the status, maintain the relationship and everything else, all the other fake stuff. She needs to do it a different way. She needs to do it in a way where she can convince herself that she had no choice. Because she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to live there. So she has to manipulate the environment around her to create circumstances where she's got no choice. Which is clever. And in that sense, it's subconscious. It's very, very, very clever. Her brain is working perfectly to deliver her, to manifest what it is she wants. She wants to live there, but she's not giving anybody the satisfaction. She doesn't want to live there. She wants to do it under circumstances where it's like she's had no choice. Move back to thrive. So that's what I believe she's doing. So that was the end of that confrontation. Horrible, horrible, horrible woman. I can't even call her a woman. She's not a woman. She's a husk. I've got the right word. I've been using it from the start because I don't need to use any other word. She's a horrible, horrible, horrible husk. So I've told her that I want that spare key back by the evening to put it through the front letterbox. And a few hours pass, I'm decorating at the top of the stairs, and the front door's wide open because it's a really, really hot day. I'm trying to get some air through. So she comes to the front door with the key. Obviously the door's wide open, and she shouts up, I've got the key, I've got the key. She's now acting poor pity me act on. She's a brilliant actor. No, right, just put it there. Just here. Yeah, just put it there. Did you not understand? Like, you can tell she's kind of itching to say something more. But like I've said before, people like her and him, they don't know how to broach difficult conversations, difficult subjects. So anyway, I thought to myself, I'd been chewing over what she had said about blaming her daughter for persuading her to live there, and I said to her, have you got anything else to say? What do you mean? I said, have you got anything else to say after our conversation? Again, she always has to say, what do you mean? Because all I do is repeat myself, and then she answers it. So she's not looking for clarification, she's buying thinking time. So, have you got anything else to say? I'm really, 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 really sorry. Like a child. It wasn't in a child's tone. But like, why do you have to say really, 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 really? Like, have you got no other way of expressing your regret? You just say really half a dozen times. Is that it? And I just said to her, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. And she said, I know you don't. Because obviously she's lied so many times, and she said sorry so many times. And when was she going to say it? Like, I had to prompt her for it. That's not an apology. When you have to prompt for it or ask for it, it's not an apology. So anyway, I said, I don't believe you. And I said to her, and I've been thinking about what you said. I said to blame your daughter for persuading you to come and live here as if it wasn't your decision. Blaming her is disgusting. You're absolutely disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. And she was like, but she doesn't know what to say. She's trying to say something. She doesn't know how to get out of that one. She doesn't know what lie she can say. And anyway, she's standing at the front door and I'm having a go at her. I walk down the stairs and eventually she just walks off to her car. Her car's parked out on the front road. Gets in her car and I follow her out. It's like some sort of carry-on film. And she winds the window down. And I can't remember what I said to her straight away because there's another shocker coming. And whenever she's told us a shocker, there's a pattern here. When she tells us a shocker, I forget how it came up. It's almost like some sort of trauma. And when you forget, if you have a car accident, I've had one before. You can't remember the build-up. Because you go in. Obviously you go into a state preparing for an accident, but when you know you're going to have one, body shuts down. But it's similar. It's like I can't remember the build-up to the shocker. So anyway, she's got her window wound down, and I think I was just saying stuff like, I was bringing stepdad into it again, and I can't remember why. She's obviously got a huge chip on her shoulder that we give stepdad as much respect, especially now he's dead. She's obviously got a chip on her shoulder. I don't think she realised. Well, she wouldn't, because she didn't love him. She didn't love him. She didn't love anybody. But I don't think she realised how much we loved him. How much we still do love him. And he'll always have respect and he'll always have a place in this home. And she's got a huge chip on her shoulder. I don't think she could wrap her head around that to start with. But now it's just causing her loads and loads and loads of turmoil. Internal turmoil. So anyway, she's got the window wound down. And this chip on her shoulder obviously came to the surface. There's this resentment. And she just said, stepdad never wanted to live here either. And I just thought, wow. And I said to her, you what? You what? And she said, you know that. I went, how am I meant to know that? Have you told me that? Like, this is what she does? Have you told me that? You never told me that. Like, she knows she didn't tell us that, and she has to agree with that. So I said, how am I meant to know if you didn't tell us or he didn't tell us? How am I meant to know that he didn't want to live? He never wanted to come here. You knew that, and that's what she does. She just accuses you of knowing, but she can't put any logic as to how you know. She can't say, well, I told you, or he told you, or I told the beacon. She just, you knew. This is what she does. She presumes that you know things. She presumes that you're happy with things. She presumes that you're all right for her to do these things. She presumes when you don't want to do something, and then she doesn't give you the choice. This is what she does. She just presumes everything and then lives in that fake world of all of these things that she's completely made up. That's the delusion. It's all her presumptions about everything. She never asks you anything. She never checks anything with you. She walks around with a paranoid presumptions. Anything happens, She presumes it's a negative for a negative reason. Anything happens that affects her, that a choice that you've made, like us moving the vehicles around in the drive, she presumes it's because there's some grand conspiracy against her, and she lives with that presumption, but she doesn't check it. This is the delusional world that she lives in. She presumes that St. George wants to watch that trash on the telly. And if it wasn't for me questioning it, the both would have sat and watched it, and then she would have it in her mind that he likes that show. And that's not reality. He doesn't. But this is the world that these people live in, delusional. So anyway, how am I meant to know that? Stepdad didn't want to live here when he didn't tell us. He didn't tell us. You knew. How did I know? Well, he must have told you. No, he didn't tell us. When is he meant to have told us this? Like, when is he meant to have told us this? Before you moved here, we didn't see that much of you because you lived where you lived. You know, it's not like I visited every week. When's he meant to have told us this? And then once he moved here, no, he's never. Why would he say, "Oh, by the way, I don't want to live here"? No, he's never said that to us. But I tell you what, Husk, and this is what I said to her. I said, "Oh, so you never wanted to live here, did he not? No, thanks for ruining all of me memories now of him living here. Thank you, thanks for that." I said to her, "No, neither of you told us that. It was your job to make sure he was happy. Me and the Beacon were very, very clear with you in the build-up. Make sure Stepdad's happy. You knew you didn't have a choice." What she's referring to is her name was on the house. You know, it was her house. If she wanted to move house, he had no choice. He was coming, like it or not. I said, "No, we made it absolutely clear to you that he must be happy. Yeah, he might have no choice ultimately, but it's our decision. It's your decision and ours combined. It's his combined. We all have to be happy. Yes, he might not want to, he might not be desperate to, but he needs to be involved in the decision, explain the reasons, and then say, yeah, I don't really want to leave my hometown, but I can see the benefits and I can see why everybody thinks it's a good idea. So yes, I'll come. I'll happily come." You know, there is a balance. That and I said to her, that's what the Beacon was constantly telling you to be sure of, and you reassured her that he was okay with it. He was okay with it. And so that was a lie as well. You lied about that. She doesn't realise that when she's trying to destroy my memories and our respect for him, and she's trying to destroy that. He's not even here to defend him. He's not even here to defend himself. She could be completely making it up. It's just disgusting. But what she doesn't understand is she's trying to destroy any memories, nice memories, love, respect, and all the rest of it for Stepdad. She doesn't realise that what she's doing is she's showing her true colours. She's now showing us that she lied to us back then. And she's willing to throw anybody under the bus. And I just said, you are pathetic. You're absolutely pathetic. The fact that you would, it just means that you weren't honest with us at the time during the planning phase, because you gave the Beacon reassurances that he was okay with it, and now he's saying that's totally not the case. And that was the other thing I said to her. Plus, if I hadn't known that, that's why me and the Beacon was so adamant, because if I hadn't known that, the Beacon as well, but I'm just speaking for myself here. If I had have known that, I would not have allowed it to happen. And she knows that. That's the crux of it. She knows it. She's so selfish. She wanted to do this. She just saw pound signs and all the rest of it. She wanted this, and there was no way she was going to jeopardise it for him. What, give him some sort of choice? No, we're doing this. And that's it. That's why she did it. There's no way, I said to her, there's no way I would have let it happen if I'd known that. And that's the truth. So you get these really, really powerful truths. Powerful, I mean, they're not good, but they're powerful. They really, really put things into perspective. You've completely betrayed our trust yet again. This whole thing, you can't trust her.